I'm going to ask you a scriptural question here, and it may be considered a tough one, but I'm pretty sure you can handle it. We're supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves. Now, does that include the axe murderer? Does that include the pedophile? Does that include how about ISIS? I mean, there comes a point. I mean, and that's I'm just asking you a flat out question. We're supposed to love our neighbor, but aren't we supposed to hate evil as well? I mean, how do we reconcile that as wanting to serve the Most High in the right way? How do we still love our neighbor but still follow? I mean, let's face it, Pastor, and Old Testament law, some of the things that people do today, they get stoned for.
Yes, sir.
Now, I don't know if we're at a position where we can start stoning people in the street. And I'm not even saying I'm calling for that necessarily, but I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I'll tell you what, if we did start stoning people in the streets, I guarantee you we'll get control on all this evil that's in this land.
Oh, you're right about that. No, I mean, you're right. You're right about that.
But the book says, the problem is this, James. Truth is skewed by people's own self-interest. That's what people need to understand. And when we read the book, and you have to listen to me real close. You have to listen to me real close. Matthew 5, TTIU, the 5th chapter, the 43rd verse says, ye have heard that it have been said. Now notice, this is word passed from one person to another. The Messiah has not said, you have heard that it was written. You have heard that it had been said, that thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. But I say unto you to love your enemies and bless them that curse you and do good to them that hate you and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh the sun to rise on evil and on good and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. First of all, number one, the order of business is, who was the Messiah talking to? He clearly told us in Matthew or Matthew the 15th chapter 24th verse that he has only been sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And so therefore he is only talking to Israelites. I know that everybody want to lump themselves up in this, but he's not talking that everybody's your neighbor. Where the real quote of this book is located in the Torah. If we go to Leviticus, the 19th chapter, starting at the 16th verse, and I'm going to read through 18 to give you the answer. It says that thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor, for I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Notice, he said brother. The brother, remember, when you get to the Torah, this was Israelites being a brother to Israelites of the 12 tribes of Israel. When the Messiah was on the scene, he's speaking to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And everyone who chooses to be or want to come into the covenant to be an Israelite, because all Israel shall be saved. And he says this. He says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt not in any wise rebuke thy neighbor or to suffer sin upon him. Here it is. Do not hate your brother in your heart. Reprove your neighbor for certain and bear no sin against him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. That's where he got the precept from. That's where the Messiah is quoting, because after all, he is the one who gave the law to Moshe. So when you hear that it say you heard it been said, then he says, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. This is something that people were saying. But the Messiah was telling the Israelites, you need to have tenderness in your eye. You need to be fond of your fellow brother and sister, meaning those who are keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments, those who are regenerated, those who are real, true Israelites, or some people will say in this country, Christians. Well, I believe that Christians should actually come out of that religion and be an Israelite like the book says. That's what the book talks about. So the people that is over here raping children, these pedophiles, and these people that are murdering innocent civilians on the streets, these are not your neighbors. Everybody that lives and breathes on this face of this planet Earth is not your neighbor. Your neighbor are the ones who submit themselves to the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of the Most High Yah. Your neighbors are the one who have their names written down in the Lamb's Book of Life. Your neighbors are the one who keeps the commandments and are filled with his Holy Spirit. That is who the Messiah is talking about. So you have to come out of all these different philosophies and these perspectives and thoughts that these people are trying to sell us as what they call sovereign doctrine. These are false doctrine that these people are giving you. And that's the one reason why that the Most High told us through the Messiah that we need to actually arm ourselves and make sure that we keep ourselves armed, because if everybody was your neighbor, then we wouldn't have to arm ourselves and resist all different forms of tyranny.